Our children are eating what we're eating, so it depends on what we're eating, what we're feeding our children. You know, when I go in the restaurants and I look at the children's menu, what? What? It's like unbelievable. But anyway, no, they would need it if they're if they're eating a healthy plant-based diet and lots of it and all that sort of thing. And remember, children aren't getting it, except if they have leukemia or something. But children simply aren't getting it. They'll get it, but nothing happens, so they become carriers. Yeah, so we're not seeing it in children. But again, they need, it's all diet and, one of the other, let's see if we can talk about this again. Now, the non-IV protection to treatment. Keep in mind that 60% of our immune system is in our GI tract. We have lymph nodes. We also have something called Peyer's patches, which line our intestines. Why? Because whatever in your intestines is still not in the body. For example, the stuff that's in your colon, fortunately, is not in your body, it's in the colon. The urine in your bladder is not in your body, it's in your bladder. It's been sequestered. So anything in the GI tract has not entered the body yet. But as it's absorbed through, the immune system is there to evaluate and find out, is this good or bad? Is this a friend or a foe? Okay, so that's why we have most of our immune system in our GI tract. So now, since our colons are about 1.5 meters or 5 feet, and it's the rare person who actually has a 5-foot bowel movement, or a 1.5 meter bowel movement, therefore we are all full of it. Everyone you meet. So you can see why God gave us skin, otherwise we would never procreate if we could see each other. So the skin hides it all. But anyway, if it's not clean, what does that mean? Well, the colon's job is to reabsorb water. One of its main jobs is to reabsorb water. And everything that's reabsorbed from the colon and the whole intestines goes into one vein called the portal vein, which goes to your liver. And that happens every 4 minutes, the enterohepatic circulation. So every 4 minutes, the toxins from the waste in your colon are being recycled to your liver, so your liver is busy already. Now also your immune system is in there, it's busy. So one way to free up 60% of your immune system is to clean your colon. One way to detoxify your liver, the main way, clean your colon. So as part of a program, if you were going to come for a program of really getting healthy, it would involve colonics to get your colon clean. And then we have ways of just helping your enhance your circulation, enhance your lymphatic flow. It's a very natural. It's these glass rods that have argon, krypton, other kinds of they call noble gases in it. Move just over your skin we have what do you call it? A lymphatic specialist from Germany, and she's able to move your lymphatic system. Remember, your lymphatic system is the circulatory system for your immune system, right? So we have a woman with a big breast tumor that's engorged. You do a lymphatic work on it, it shrinks down. Because a lot of it is engorgement. Because remember, you'll drink out of a river, but you won't drink out of a pond. Okay, so health is flow. You got to have a healthy circulatory system, a healthy lymphatic system. Okay, so that's also part of the whole program. So the program would involve some intravenous therapies that we discussed, cleaning the bowel, getting your lymphatic systems working. And then the other big one is the mind emotions that we were talking about. Okay, we know that fear, anger, stress is fear. Anger, envy, jealousy, all of these things demonstrably decrease gamma interferon, decrease natural killer cell function. So never get your blood tested if you just had a fight with someone, or right? So don't do it. But anyway, it will lower it. So the immune system is actually a slave of the mind. Okay, so you've got to keep your mind under control. Now here's the problem. We all grew up from the time we got home from the hospital, because, you know, pregnancy is a disease, right? So we have to be born in hospitals. So anyway, so we're born in the hospital. By the time we get home from the hospital, we have a week or two of how cute we are, and then we hear 3 basic themes: no, stop, don't. Right? So basically, we're told by the gods of our universe, our parents, that we're not acceptable. Right? The fundamental relationship in our life is rejection. No wonder we need contracts. Right? What is marriage? What is a civil marriage? It's a prenuptial. I love you, but if you do this, you owe me. You know, anyway, so every relationship, if we have business relationship, we fundamentally don't trust each other. Because the relationship with our parents was based on, we're not good enough. We're going to fix you. So we're not allowed to be instinctual. So we learn not to be instinctual. But anyway, as a result, psychologists have concluded that 70% of our thoughts are negative. And then the other truth is that 95% of our mind is subconscious. So we're only aware of 5% of our minds. So we really don't know what we're telling ourselves. You might think you're positive. So what do you do? Can you fix it? How can you fix that which you can't see? You can't. So the only way to deal with it is to turn it off. And that's the one thing we can do, and that's called meditation. So meditation is a way of turning the mind off. Okay, and that's a muscle you have to exercise. You can't just decide to meditate. I mean, 30 seconds, stop thinking. You can't do it. You'll be thinking about not thinking. And you should have gone to the bathroom first, and you got to do this later, and all that. So remember, thinking is involuntary. It's happening all the time. Like your heart's beating, your glands are secreting, your mind is thinking. It's not you decide to think. So anyway, so that's a big part of it. And since emotions and all that stuff, and emotions, remember, are just physiological correlates of thinking. So if a thought evokes a physiological response, we call it an emotion. So anyway, you need to learn how to turn it off. Very important. Very important. And in fact, cancer, what I've learned is that cancer, the root of cancer is in the mind. It's a psycho-spiritual event. And that the physical things, the tumors, are just apples on the tree. And you can get rid of all the apples, but if you didn't take care of the mind, it'll be back. So really, that's another very important part of what we do. And it's the reason we're in Phuket, because of the environment, the location, the fact that meditation is a normal thing in Thailand. It's like, in America it's weird, but it's a normal thing. So.
Also, too, always growing up, your grandmas and aunts and everybody had cancer. You kept hearing all your life, you're going to get cancer. Well,
exactly.
Where did the first generation to just change that and say, no, I don't have to accept that?
Right. Yeah, now that's it. Remember, this brain is better than any computer. You give it an instruction, it'll take care of it, right? Yeah, so that which you fear, you're giving it energy. It's the same thing with addictions. The more you're, I haven't smoked for 3 days, 4 hours, and 27 seconds. That means I'm still busy smoking in my mind, but or it's what they call a dry drunk, right? You're not really, you're not drinking, but you're drinking. So it's the same thing. You got to just learn to turn the mind off. And one thing about, just to let you know. Cancer is not genetic. 100 years ago, 0.5% of the population had cancer. Today, 1 out of 5 women, 1 out of 6 men on planet Earth will probably die of cancer. So, which would mean every one of our grandparents should have had it, and that's not the way it is. So it's not genetic. So don't worry about it. You're not a victim of your genes.
Why do you think Italy and Iran have it so bad with the virus?
Well, it looks like it's along the 40. It's a latitude. It's a certain latitude. But I think it has to do with that. It must be the latitude. I'm not sure.
Well, do you think that the story about because it's hotter here, we're a little bit safer because the virus doesn't grow? Is that be possible?
Well, that could be because they're just like influenza. They wait for flu season to be over, which is summer. and it's gone. Yeah, so it's the same kind of thing. Remember, like the origin of the reason a cold makes you sick is because body temperature, our body temperature should be 37 degrees or 98.6. But no one is that. And the way this has to do with thyroid function. So everybody in this room is hypothyroid. Everybody you meet is hypothyroid. And that's because we don't get enough iodine in our diets. Okay, iodine comes from sea plants, not seafood, not animals. But so like wakame and kelp and those other things. We just don't eat enough. Japanese, and the standard Japanese diet is about 12.5 milligrams a day of iodine. Which means, now iodine not only is necessary for thyroid. What is thyroid? Thyroid is the hormone that delivers iodine to your mitochondria, which makes them depolarize. So your energy, it's kind of it's your energy. So the way we check, you don't do the blood test. The blood tests are false. You check your basal body temperature. So in the morning, before you get out of bed, before you go to the bathroom, you check your basal body temperature. If you average it for 5 days and you're less than 36.8, then you are hypothyroid. So anyway, everybody is. So anyway, what do you need to do? Well, you need to get iodine, number one. And until you are euthyroid, until you have a healthy thyroid, you need to take a natural thyroid to keep your body temperature up. Because a cold means your temperature went down. If it goes down by 1 degree centigrade, you're going to get, your immune system is gone.
Can you get iodine from the salt?
No, that they don't give you enough. No, they don't give you enough.
The drops from Iher, they're okay?
Which one?
The drops from Iher, it's just iodine salt.
Well, it depends. You see, there's molecular iodine, which is I2, and there's iodide, which is usually potassium iodide. Iodide, iodine. So the standard one that's been around for about 150 years is called Lugol solution. It's 50% iodine, 50% iodide, because both are necessary. So you have to have that combination.
What's that?
Lugols, L-U-G-O-L. And so usually we all need about 25 milligrams a day. But if you're hypothyroid, you want to also get your thyroid functioning with a natural thyroid. Until it takes about 1.5 years, 2 years of taking iodine to have enough in your body. Remember, iodine is also antimicrobial. In the old days, before they had all this stuff, you could paint it on a cut and you didn't get infected. You could hike in the woods. If you're a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout, you take out dirty water, put iodine, you can drink it in about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Okay, the same way that it kills bacteria and viruses, it kills cancer. So people with, that's why in Japan, when they did autopsies after World War II, and they would find people with tumors here and there, but they never grew and never metastasized. They died at 100 from some other condition. So even if you get the cancer, it can't grow and it can't spread. And if it can't grow and it can't spread, you're not going to die from it. So iodine is really, really important. It's the forgotten supplement. But anyway, so body temperature is very important. And so that means getting iodine up and get hot. If you get a fever, rejoice. Don't go to the airport, they won't let you in, but it's good. So, anyway, aging and what we call diseases is only an accumulation of toxins. Now, there are groups like the Hunzas running around at 120, the men able to impregnate women at 110, women stopping their periods at 65. So we have a very successful and effective premature aging program going on here. Live a Western lifestyle and you will definitely age sooner. Okay? And the reason is we've left nature. We do nothing natural anymore. Look at us. We're sitting in a box. We drive around in machines. We go home and interact with machines. So basically we live unnatural lifestyles. So, and we eat stuff that's no longer food. So as toxins accumulate, they affect every organ, including our endocrine organs, our hormones. So when they do, we start to have hormone decline. So when we get hormone decline, we have what's called aging. And also remember, the accumulation of toxins means the body has to adapt, and that adaptation is what we call a disease. So really, all you have to do is what you do for your car. right? If you drive a car daily, you're going to have to change the oil about 4 times a year. Otherwise, this is not going to drive that well. Well, you know, when was the last time you changed your oil? You think about that. So that's basically what detoxification is. If you detoxify, if you don't get, and one good study was, there was a Nobel laureate in physiology named Dr. Carroll. In 1915, he worked with the heart. He took chicken hearts and put them in a medium with nutrients. And every day they changed it so that there was never any waste accumulation. He wanted to see how long the chicken hearts would live. In the 1950s, they abandoned, the experiment ended, someone forgot to clean the water. But that was from 1915. Chickens don't live that long. So the point is, if you don't accumulate toxins, the biblical stories of living an average of 912 years, you know, before the flood, probably true, you know. So anyway, the point is, we have to cleanse. We should cleanse at least 4 times a year, right? And then during times like this, make sure you're clean just so you don't get, you know, so the virus won't mean anything. It's a tomato in the desert, a tomato seed in the desert. It just won't grow. So if you had an aquarium and the fish were sick, the veterinarian would not say, show me a fish. He'd say, bring me a cup of the water. I'll tell you what's wrong with the fish. And you can put medicine in that aquarium all day long, but if you don't change the water, the fish will still get sick. Okay, any other questions?
How long can be the virus active? Let's say on a table or somewhere?
Not long. I mean, I think this one, an hour or two, they dry out. They don't last that long. You know, you have to be in a crowded room and a lot of people. They don't survive. Some viruses survive longer, but these viruses, get dried out.
But they did some tests on the walls or something in the cruise ships, and they found some that were like days old.
Well, I mean, if it's moist, if there's moisture there, it won't. If it doesn't dry out, yeah. Yeah.
What's your comment about the hand sanitizer gel spray?
Avoid them. Avoid them. Most of them are chemicals. It's kind of like when I'm in the airplane, when they give you that hot towel and you smell it, you know, just give me hot water, you know. So anyway, all that stuff is poison. So you can use rubbing alcohol is a great way to sanitize, you know, and it dries really quickly. So yeah, but you know, you got to look at whenever you're going to use anything on your body, you read it, and if you can't understand it, don't take it.
You can't drink it.
Right. So that's the thing. I always worry about whatever they're, you know, the stuff they spray in the rooms and elevators, and it's car sanitizer.
For relatives that we have that are on medications, do you think the longevity possibly of this virus is going to disrupt the supply chain? The ones that are insistent on taking medications?
Yeah, you know, sure. I think especially a lot of them are made in China, so that's going to be the problem. Except that it looks like China's waking up to the vitamin C thing, and if they do, it shouldn't last too long there. But as you see now the scare is going around the world. It's spreading, and remember, it's mostly scare. So, for example, when they say they find things on cruise ships and stuff like that, you really don't know what's true or not. You just don't know. They're making a big deal out of this.
Do you think anything about the theory that they want to get us to go to digital pay and get away with money?
Well, that's the plan. That's the plan. The plan is to, if everything is digitalized, they get rid of cash, and they don't like you, they zero you out. You can't eat, you can't pay rent. That's the ultimate control, is to eliminate cash, and that's where they're going. So they want to chip you with vaccinations, and yeah, so you know, you got to just find another planet. Maybe Elon Musk has it right? Let's get out of this.
Can I just go back to the vitamin C? If you're just taking it home on a normal daily basis, what would the best dosage be?
Well, you remember, you got to find out what your bowel tolerance is, right? So I would take like you have a 1,000 milligram capsule. You should, if you know the ones that are good are the ones that are what's the word? Oh, I forgot the word. It's in a little fat. Anyway, Mercola's brand does that. Lipolyzed. You know, they put it in a little. Anyway, the reason is that you can get more of it without getting the diarrhea. There's a Mercola. You can probably find him online. Mercola brand. We have it. That's what we carry. But you can also, I don't know if you can order from iHerb or what. But the but anyway, you take like 1,000 milligrams every like 45 minutes, 30, 45 minutes until you get diarrhea to find out your bowel tolerance, and then you take like 20% less, so maybe 80% of that dose in divided doses throughout the day. Now remember, you should also get vitamin A and vitamin D, zinc, selenium, and magnesium. These are very important as cofactors, right? And then the other thing I didn't mention, you should, you know, if you guys ever want to come up to LifeCo, we give lectures on, I give lectures on specific topics, like sleep is a whole lecture. But as important as I'm telling you food is, sleep is more important. And it's not length, it's when you go to sleep. Okay, and I'll go into all of that too. But anyway, there are things that you need to do to incorporate in your life so that you are vibrant at 100, robust. There's no reason to be sickly. There's no reason. The only reason that you're sick is because you're violating the laws of nature. That's why you're sick.
Are those lectures available to the general public?
Yeah.
We can just come along?
Yeah, what we need to do is actually put posters down here. You know, we need to let Laguna know because nobody knows about us. But yeah, so we'll start doing that. We have to have a way of communicating. Where would you say is the best place to let people know? Like Villa Market? Does everybody go to Villa Market?
And Porto.
Which?
Porto, the new market, supermarket.
Oh, over there, yeah. I mean, somehow, because there are talks, and you know, we have a program called the.
Like every international school has a PTA.
Ah.
We send information direct to the head of the PTA. They'll send it to every parent in the school.
Oh, that would be good. Okay. And you hear that? And again, every international school has a PTA, and if they would send it to all the parents, international schools. So that would mean, yeah. So that'd be a good way, because there's something we have called the School of Life, which is a series of lectures and hands-on preparing of food. Because the one thing they forgot to teach us in school is how to live. Right? We have no idea. It's controversial what to eat. Well, once you understand your anatomy and physiology, it's not controversial. When to go to sleep. Once you and basically here's the bizarre thing. You all actually already know. You've just learned how to ignore it. We've all learned how to ignore the truth. That's what our cultures teach us. And remember, ignore is the root of what word? Ignorance, yeah. So, anyway, we need to be reminded. Yeah.
Could you just give us a hint about what time you should go to sleep?
You should go to sleep when the sun goes down. No, I'm just, okay, so imagine the world with no electricity, no machines, right? Okay, now remember the fact that our anatomy and physiology, humans arose out of the equatorial zones, right? Right? You don't find chimps and gorillas in Alaska or Germany, right? Okay, so therefore the anatomy and physiology, ours is similar, right? Is designed that way. So we have a pineal gland that produces melatonin, and we need to have a certain hours of it. Anyway, once we do that, so in other words, we've shifted to the night. If you went to bed at 8 and you woke up at 3, you have 4 hours before the world's awake where you get a lot done. Because remember, your mind in the morning, reading 15 minutes in the morning is worth reading an hour at night. At night, you got to reread it because your mind is full of today. But in the morning, you're fresh, if you went to bed early, right? So, but I'm just saying, that So that would be the time. So here, the ideal is you eat one nutrient-dense meal a day. Okay, and if you're eating a nutrient-dense meal once a day, that's all you need, and you're full and satisfied, because now you're living by hunger, not appetite. So there's a lot of stuff like that. But so anyway, once you understand the ideal, no one's going to do it because we grew up in this crazy world. So you have to approximate it. So go to bed by 9, or there's ways of doing it. Or anyway, you have to get closer to that. And if you're sick, definitely do it. You live near the ocean. Get your feet in the sand every day. Ground for at least an hour a day. There's a lot of things that we need to do. There's a way to live. We don't know how to live. We are hybrid mutants, right? And who don't know how to live on Earth. Any of us with our clothes off in the jungle. I mean, after we stop weeping, then what would we do, right? We don't know how to live. We don't know, right? So anyway, the point is this: we don't know how to live on Earth anymore. We're really no longer Earthlings, right? We're these hybrid mutants who live in these artificial things called cities, a civilization. Anyway, that's why we're sick. Okay, so is that it for questions? Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome.
I would like to thank LifeCo for coming up with this great idea and doing it for the community. And I just would like to really make everyone aware of LifeCo. Many people are, but also we are not fully aware of what they do. Even me living here for so many years, sometimes I really, LifeCo is not the first thing that comes to my mind when I have some medical issues or need help. So just look into it, and I'm hoping that we can do many more talks like this. Any ideas about topics that will interest you? Will be
Because I can come here too. We can come here and talk as well.
meditation.
Well, usually, some of the lectures that seem to be people like are the biology of stress, understanding stress, what to do about it, sleep, and the one on food. What is human food, right? And so, and then there's exercise. So those are kind of the main topics. And then once you've had those, then you might be interested in some of the workshops on really, so now that I know what human food is, how do I prepare it? Because the sad thing is that, and I've been to, I think, almost every country in the world, and if I were an alien and I came down here and I just looked at the dinner table, I would be convinced that we are canines. Most people eat dog food, right? And did you ever hear the expression "sick as a dog and healthy as a horse"? So think about what horses eat and think about what dogs eat. Horses live longer too.